Hi there, my name's Lewis and welcome to the Neckpour. This is the whisky review channel where I give you my thoughts and opinions on a particular whisky from the Neckpour all the way down to the dregs. And today we're here for another episode of the Neckpour, starting a new bottle, and this time is a bottle of the Penderyn Welsh Gold Sherrywod edition. Before we get started today, I would like to ask that you drop down below, give this video a like if you're enjoying the content, drop me a comment if you have any thoughts on this particular bottle of whisky or have any bottles of whisky you think I should be reviewing, and drop me a subscription and hit that notification bell to be notified when I post further videos. This is a bottle which I've been pretty excited to get into. I do have quite a soft spot for Penderyn. This will be their fourth expression now that I've tried, and even on my wedding day in my hip flask at my side was a measure of the Madeira cask finish, which I believe they refer to as their sort of house style. But yeah, I mean, I've always been quite a fan of a sherried whiskey, and I think that all of the Penderyns I've tried so far have had a really nice character. So I'm excited to see what the Oloroso barrel finish does to the whiskey. It's a very light whiskey, so I hope that the sherry isn't overbearing and doesn't overpower it. It is something I'm super interested to get into. This, of course, is a Welsh whisky and comes from the village of Penderyn in the Brecon Beacons, and was one of the distilleries that was set up with Dr. Jim Swan, the late great Dr. Jim Swan, as part of it. So we are expecting probably quite a light whisky, a light character style of the distillate itself, with usually, as a lot of his newer distilleries were, with quite a large sort of cask influence on this. And through reading a lot of their marketing and things like that on their website, I know Penderyn do talk quite heavily about their unique still designs, and I believe they sort of suggest that it creates an incredibly light, incredibly pure spirit and chases out a lot of those heavier, oilier notes. But yeah, let's see if we can pour a little drop and see what we think. I do have to say, I do quite like the box it comes into. It's quite understated. There's no too much messing around, and you can see the whiskey that you're purchasing when it's on the shelves. I think it's more just a case of kind of making it square so that it fits nicely into, pallets, etc. And this, of course, as with a lot of the whiskey Penderyn put out, is 46%. It's non-chill filtered and it's no added colour. Clearly stated on the box on the back, just around here. I'm not sure if it's on the bottle because I've not got it out just yet. But that is, of course, the kind of craft presentation we're looking for. It's all the kind of key stats that we're looking for. So this is the whiskey as it should be. The only thing for me that this whiskey is missing is it doesn't have an age statement. And that doesn't mean I want it to be 10 years old, but I just think the more transparency, the better. And I think even if it's 3 years and 2 days old, tell us the date that the distillate was made, the barrels it's gone into, and the date that it was vatted. Because I think that is key information that we need to have in order to make an informed decision as a customer, And it doesn't take much to give it to us. And I think the discerning customer will not worry about that kind of thing. I think the only people who are worried about that are the more sort of beginner people and just getting started on their journey, who have been kind of falsely led into the assumption that just simply age, the older the whiskey is, the better it is, as opposed to a lot of other things. But yeah, other than that, let's get this open and see what we think. Yeah, so the non-chill filtered is still stated on the bottle. There doesn't seem to be anything on there about natural colour. However, it is stated on the box, so we do know all those key stats. And it, of course, has the percentage on here. So let's get this open and see what the cork sounds like. Oh, that was a great one on the cork pop, although it doesn't affect the flavour of the whiskey. It does certainly get you in the mood. So let's pour ourselves a little drop of this. I'll just pop that back next to there for now. And I do also have a Penderyn branded glass that I'm trying this in today. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but we will have a little look up close and personal on a little bit of dram cam footage that I film up close. Wow, that's super nutty to me. There's massive almonds, marzipan, dried fruits. Could be, if that almost smells like a kind of carrot cake, with all those baking spices, little bit of sweetness, the walnuts, the things like that in there. That's a really interesting nose. It's very classic sherry flavours, but quite light at the same time. It's not heavy and overbearing and like a big, rich Christmas pudding. It's a much kind of lighter, and there's a lot of citrus, orange, candied orange peel, things like that in there, alongside the baking spices, the nuts, and the dried fruit. That's really, really very pleasant on the nose. Actually, it's inviting me in. It's not. I mean, it is the morning at the moment, and even being 46%, it's not kind of tickling the nose, anything like that. It's really pretty pleasant. But yeah, let's have a little sip and see what we think. See how it is on the palate. On the palate, that's a massive kind of burst of flavour throughout the mouth, and it's really warming as it goes down. It's got a great sort of baking spice, honey, vanilla, things like that. Could be almost like a mulled kind of cider or something like that. It's very light and fruity, but with all the kind of rich, warming spices at the same time. So it's a really interesting mix of what clearly is quite a light and fruity distillate that's then been finished in the Oloroso sherry casks, and based on the way this is tasting, particularly considering it's non-age stated, so it's probably not been in there that long, they were probably pretty lively casks with still a fair bit of sherry left in them when they'd seasoned them, I would have thought. Again, I don't know. Wasn't there at the time, and this is only the Neckpour. I've only gone into this with very little sort of research done beforehand, and when I come back to film the dregs at the end of the bottle, I will have much more information on this. But yeah, let's see what it says. So it is ex-bourbon and ex-sherry cask matured, is this. Along with, again, is the typical marketing guff talking about the purity of their water and all those kind of things, as everyone says. But yeah, that's a really kind of interesting, because yeah, I get lots of green fresh fruits, perhaps even a kind of banana on the palate. And again, now I've tasted the banana on the palate, there's almost a kind of banoffee note on the nose, but a kind of only just ripe banana, not a super going brown, soft, super sweet banana. a much lighter kind of slightly green banana, and one that's only just become ready to eat. But yeah, let's have another couple of tastes and see what we think. Yeah, there's a lovely, rich, warm sweetness to this. And then it kind of, because again, they're clearly using very active oak for this, and it leads quite quickly into a kind of astringent tannic. By no means unpleasant, but almost drying the mouth towards the end of the palate, heading into the finish. But yeah, this is really enjoyable whiskey. It's right kind of up my alley. It's got all the key stats that we're looking for. It's naturally presented, and it's got a lovely flavour, lovely cask influence. It's got those sweet, warming sherry notes that are perfect for a kind of wintry whiskey, but matched with a really light, fruity distillate that's perfect for a summer sipper. And this is something, yeah, I could drink all year round. The finish isn't super long. You can tell how young it is in the finish. It does die out a little bit, but it's still nice and oily, still coats your mouth. I'm still tasting the last sip I had, and it kind of finishes on a lot of sweet toffee, butterscotchy kind of flavours, which again further sort of hammer home that slightly unripe banana banoffee pie sort of thing, with all that creamy sweetness at the end, with the kind of toffee in the mid palate with the spices and the bananas on the nose, and then just a little hint of spicing all the way through. So I picked this whiskey up for £44.50 at Cask 23 in Leicester, which is my local whiskey shop. It's where myself and a couple of friends go to a lot of their masterclasses and tasting evenings they host there. They get some really interesting brands in and distributors showing off all sorts of different things. And if you've never been to one, I would highly recommend you have a look into going to a masterclass. Or a tasting evening, whatever the place you're at is calling it. It's a really interesting way to see a whole kind of spectra of whiskies and meet like-minded people. I think, you have to, once you've been to a couple, you can kind of see which ones will be for you and which ones won't be for you. The ones hosted by the brand execs of the huge multinational corporations. Once you've been to one of them, you've been to all of them, because they are selling you a marketing story and a load of guff. But yeah, it's something I'd strongly recommend looking into, or going to a whiskey show, something like that. It's just a fantastic way to drink a plethora of different spirits from different producers and get to meet really interesting people who are really passionate about what they do, which is quite infectious. And it will leave you with certain brands that you inherently root for no matter what, because you've met those people and you really believe in their passion, and that will, even if they start putting out some stuff that's not quite as good, you will want to still support them. So it may not always be the best for the wallet going to these events, but you'll have a lot of fun and meet some really great people. But no, for £44.50, this is a really, really good product. It's a really good whiskey. It's produced well, and it's naturally presented to us, which is great. And I'll link the product page on the Cask 23 website below, and yeah, feel free to pick it up from there. I know Penderyn have, in the last sort of 6 months or so, got a lot bigger. They've increased their distribution network a lot. The Madeira cask you can often see in the supermarkets, or they seem to do quite a bit on Amazon as well. So looking around on the internet, you might get it a little bit cheaper, but the link I'm going to put below for this bottle will be for Cask 23, because they're the bottle shop that I go to. And if you're going to buy it at full retail price, I would rather that you support the people that I support and the people. yeah, as you can see, my first dram has gone. I've gone through that at record pace, and I'm actually going to pour myself another one now because that is super good. Really enjoying it, and it's right up my alley. To my mind, that's actually slightly better than the Madeira finish, which, as I say, is a whiskey that will always hold a place in my heart, as it was what I drank on my wedding day with my groomsmen, with my family, with my wife. And that was then also the first thing that went into my infinity bottle. So every time I drink from that, that is always a little bit of that wedding day whiskey is always in there. And yeah, but I think this could be even better as a finish. I mean, I know there's also a portwood and a peated finish that Penderyn put out, and I may have a look into both of those too. But yeah, Penderyn is one of those brands that I think will always kind of have a little place in me. And every time they put out one of their new releases, whether it's a single barrel, whether it's one of their Icons of Wales lines, I'm always super tempted. But we are at the moment in the process of getting ready to move house. And so that is something, who knows how long it's going to take, because we're waiting on chains, things like that. But I think I'm going to be trying to limit my spending a little bit on whiskey, partly so I've got less to move when it comes to it, and also, lawyers and things are expensive, so we might have to be a little bit tight with the budget, and there might be a few more episodes of the Dregs coming than the Neckpour as we start getting through what we've already got. But I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've certainly enjoyed opening this bottle with you guys. Really enjoying the juice in there, and we'll be really interested to see how it is when we get down to the dregs at the bottom after it's had a little bit of time to open up, and see what we think and give a slightly more nuanced opinion. Other than that though, I'd like to say thank you for joining me today. Please drop me a like below if you've enjoyed this content. Drop me a comment if you've got any thoughts on this particular bottle, or are there any bottles you'd like me to purchase for review. And hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to see when I post anything more. Other than that, please join me in the next episode. Thanks, cheers, Salancha, and I'll see you next time.